So when you talk about the benefits of coaching, these are see them right there before you. But in summary, part of the things that we really pride ourselves for is one, being a member of a global community. There's also the benefit of having the core competencies, and these are skill sets that are adopted through training, a training module to accredit us as coaches and help us navigate our businesses in significant, which is called the code of ethics. Through the code of ethics, we are able to be governed. The code of ethics. Through the code of ethics, we are able to be governed in terms of the expectations of what to do and what not to do, how to engage, and these are networking. You can imagine it's not networking at a local level in terms of a community. ICF is present in 160 countries, and we are about 60,000 to do with championing the cause for coaching that comes under different ICF umbrellas, like the International Coaching Federation. We also have things to do with recognition, global recognition and branding, where coaches are able to raise their skill and competence by having accreditation and improve and have better presence on their brands. So about the membership, we have an annual fee of $245 per person. This is a one-year fee upon joining and renewable to all members, whether new members or renewing members who have been present within the community. And for us, we look at this as a real value proposition, seeing the advantages that we've looked at. So to bring you up to speed in terms of what we are having for this year under ICW 2024, we have a number of roadshows taking place. We've also got a number of panel engagements and also other events. As you can see the calendar here, some of these are discussions, and there'll also be other roadshows taking place in the week to come. As you see, part of our theme, our core theme is around innovate, elevate, celebrate. Over to you, Abel.
Good morning, colleagues. Just appreciate the theme of innovate, and our society is constantly changing and adaptability, agility becomes essential. And as we engage with and co-create with our clients, it's essential that we drive innovation, because from where we sit as coaches, we have to constantly innovate so that in a point of disequilibrium, the benefit to the client or to our coaches becomes and remains relevant. So as we think through the theme and as we look at what we do as coaches and those who aspire to be coaches, that we constantly must innovate to stay relevant, not only to society, but in a larger sense that in a Kenyan context we develop this profession to the next level and to stay relevant, because the tangibility of what we have and what we deliver remains relevant if we constantly innovate. And if you look at today's society and where we are, and if you look at this room with all these books, this information that was formed from the 20th century to the 21st century. And as we constantly bombarded with technology as a driving aspect of where we are and all this artificial intelligence, we need to raise our emotional intelligence at a personal level, at a client level, to constantly innovate the way we engage and co-create with our clients. So as we look at this week, we should be asking ourselves, what more can we do? What more can we add so that the focus still remains to the client, but also as a chapter, how do we remain relevant to our members? So that innovation and that engagement remains a key factor to the outcome that we desire, not only today, but tomorrow and the future that we look forward to. So just as we think through that, is think of our capability, our collaboration, our agility, and fundamentally the culture that we want to flourish within the chapter and also within the membership. So we're looking forward to a great weekend, wishing you all the very best as we innovate and make ourselves more for our clients' purposes. Over to you, George. Winnie, sorry, Winnie.
Winnie, you can unmute.
Good morning, everybody. It's really good to have you join us on the call as we start. Christopher, let me know if you can hear me well.
Yes, we can.
Okay, it's really good to come together as we kickstart the ICW week. So in line with the theme, innovate, elevate, and celebrate. I'll focus on elevate in the coaching fraternity. And what comes to mind when I think of that is basically raising the bar within our coaching fraternity. And this, I think, would involve owning our skills as coaches, staying up to date with the latest industry trends, and also embracing diversity and inclusivity in our practices. So how do we do this? I think when you talk of elevate education, making sure that you stay abreast with what is happening now. Are you making sure that you stay abreast with what is happening in the market, so that you are not left behind? So in global, if you look at the website, we have so many education forums for new members, for all members, so that you can upskill. And as a chapter, we have, like our president mentioned, the education forums, and we are looking forward to engage more with the membership. The other item that I think is important when we talk about elevate is in terms of the resources that we have. How can we elevate our practices? As a new coach, for example, you have started out and you want to have your presence on there. In the website, what ICF has done, it has provided like a free website. You can create your own website to elevate yourself, to put yourself out there, to be known. There's also the podcasts, which talk about up-to-date trends in the industry. And I could also encourage us to have our own podcasts and put them on there, so that in case we have new and exciting trends, we can also be counted as to have contributed. And also, the other issue in terms of elevate is creating an environment where coaches can collaborate. I think that is very important. We work together so that we can have different experts coming together. If you're in terms of your field and you're able to raise each other up. Like for example, now with the AI space, what are we doing about it as coaches? We don't want to be left behind. In terms of the Gen Zs, how are we, what techniques are we using in terms of coaching them? Do they appreciate what was being used before? So those are some of the things that we need to look into. And in conclusion, I can say that if, as coaches, if we elevate ourselves as coaches, our coaches will benefit, because once we elevate ourselves, we show up differently, we have different techniques to use, we use different techniques, and then we are also relevant. And of course, the coaches will experience growth, skill enhancement, and also a whole transformation. So I would like to encourage all of us as in the membership to step up and come forward so that we can work together to elevate our coaching. Thank you. Over to you, Irene.
Good morning once again. It's a pleasure to have each and every one of you on board. And I think just coming from where my colleagues have said, right from what Susan has shared with us, we are happy to be ushering this week into the International Week of the Coaching. And as you've heard from my colleagues, now we'll be looking at having journeyed together. Then what next? So as coaches, we look forward to growth. We are looking forward to an enriching journey and opportunities for us to celebrate our milestones and our achievements. So how do we get there? I think you heard right from what Madam Susan took us through. We've got quite a number of opportunities out there, from coffee chats to other live events. And you're most welcome to join us. And I think we have a very rich program going into the week. And even for us, it's actually beyond a week. We are looking at a month long of activities that are going to be enriching for us as coaches. And we're looking forward to hosting you at some of the events. And this is a good opportunity for even the new coaches or the new members of the chapter can come in and, get to exchange conversations that will also deepen our competencies as coaches and also enrich our knowledge and also build our networks. I think that's very important for us as coaches, because we don't exist on our own. So we are looking forward to at one time just coming into getting this event where we celebrate our achievements and the journey that we have come so far, not only as a chapter but also
celebrate coaching, then of course on Friday we have a road show at Mount Kenya University, and there will be a panel discussion, but that is of course that will be confirmed. There's maybe a slight change around. The book club event, which was originally slated for at the start of this week, but has been set for the 25th of May at Romo, in partnership with Romo Coffee House, and it's going to be a very exciting session where we'll have the convergence of what the Executive Connect session is about, and coaching, and how coaching can actually be celebrated and elevated in that. There's a whole list of organizations that would be inviting us and opening their doors for that. We shall communicate that in due course, but it's also on the schedule that we have shared. And so we shall be celebrating the International Coaching Week, not just for the week, but we shall stretch out right up to the end of the month. It's really exciting, it's a great time of celebration, and we invite you to all come on board to partner. There are many ways you can partner with us in the celebration. More and more voices in the road shows. For those who would like to learn more about coaching, we would really welcome you to join, especially the fireside chats. And of course, for the friends of coaching, we shall continue to create opportunities, including with our
experience that we're looking forward to this week. So kindly plug in, feel free to ask us any questions if you have any questions. Once again, our inquiry line is 07. And for emails, you can go ahead and just reach us on info@icfkenya.org. The first and the second event that we're having is starting at 12, and we look forward to starting at 12. Karibuni sana. Yeah, let me just to show us what coaching is about. So we are looking forward to you signing up for pro bono roadshows, plugging in and engaging with other coaches. Let's see, let the international coaching as a
Director, Career Connections. Beside me, I have my colleague, former President, Agwins Koyoson, who will be moderating the session. And on my right,
things that transcend us really from a point of active legacy. And so for me, the way I synthesize the theme for this year's coaching week, it's really just about celebrating the human experience in a way that we create value for humanity, for the communities within which we operate.
Okay, great. I like the issue of human value. Method.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me. So, from the Academy of Executive Coaching perspective, who we represent in Africa, and correct, I've done for 15 years, as George has said. For us, it's constant innovation in order to elevate. That means adding to our portfolio of programs, such as the having our programs be triple accredited means that, and we see it, that they are literally coaching in any corner of the world, be it Syria, Pakistan, Canada, on a regular basis, because technology has enabled us to do that. And there is a real appetite for diversity reasons to have coaches from Africa.
Very powerful, and leadership across and globally. And Nadia, probably coming from Ericsson's perspective and giving your view from Bulgaria, what are your thoughts about?
Almost coaches eat strategy for breakfast. And now, thanks to coaching, there is another narrative, and it is coaches create strategies for breakfast thanks to the mindset that we train through the coaching experience.
Thank you, Nadia. And
To you, Arvind.
thank you very much. And just to pick on that, and I like the fact that now culture is now eating, the vice versa. And your thoughts, because we experience a lot of disruption in every sphere of our lives, and we have to remain relevant as George, from where you sit and the way you train and how you coach, how is that changing to meet that need?
I think the thing that is happening, people are in transition because of this disruption. You find that people are trying to come up with a new direction, a new way of doing things. They are stuck in what they're doing now. I usually train leaders, and my course is called Certified Leadership and Team Coach. And even at that level, because of the disruption that is there, leaders have had to change. The disruption is causing them to change their approach of leading. Right now we have much younger people. We are seeing a generational opportunity of people working together. So a leader has to be able to work with somebody in their 60s and somebody in their 25. And the best approach is coaching. Because coaching, you go in, gone are the days where the leader knew everything. And now with technology, I mean, when you're asking an issue, the and comes up with the answer. And the things that coaching becomes a really, really important thing for leaders. In corporates, whether in small businesses, whether even in the NGO world, the culture is shifting because of the disruption that has been happening.
Yes, you want to chime in there?
Yes, yes. I think this is a really rich conversation. From where I sit, beyond the certification of your
perspective of how we support coaches beyond the certification is in finding ways where we partner with coaches around taking the coaching practice within organizations. We've been very passionate about how do we democratize coaching in the workplace, in organizations, in community. But also we're doing, we are revamping our whole community engagement capability. And But again, shifting now to matters within the organization, we recognize, coaching, and again, I'll be bold here and say you cannot be an effective leader if you're not a coach. And so we are spending time also thinking through with our rich alumni around how can we actually take this campaign around bringing coaching within the workplace and shifting the whole idea around being versus doing, getting to a point whereby we want more people to be coaches rather than to see coaching as something that they do on specific occasions. And so that's really where our focus is, and we do believe that's the right direction we need to take in terms of how we can partner with yourselves and others to make sure that we integrate coaching in every aspect of
So good, and probably just to pick on where you stopped and from where you sit, and from a generational perspective, because most people who come to the schools are either probably one down to C-suite or already in C-suite, so it becomes an enhanced skill to have to drive leadership agenda. So how then, from where you sit at schools, drive, as you say, make coaching a profession and bring in the younger generation into coaching early enough, so that it then builds into a way of looking at things. So probably, Nadia, what's your thoughts from Rise and Learn?
This is a very interesting discussion that we are having here about the application of coaching. And as a mentor and a teacher of coaching for the past 8 years, I've noticed the struggle people have once they acquire this amazing skill, because everybody who listens to us and is a coach would confirm that once we realize the potential that coaching opens up, we fall in love with it. But then we get into the struggle of, and what do I do with this now? And some people start thinking, maybe I should start practicing it at work. Other people, maybe I should start my own coaching practice, but I'm not an entrepreneur, I don't know how. And what I found out in my 15 years of journey as a coach is that it should not be either or. We coaches know that it's never either or. It's and. Those who are successful in coaching, and thanks to ICF reports, actually, we know coaching impacts increased team functioning, over 57%, increased engagement, over 56%, increased productivity, 51%. Which is the organization that doesn't want such enhancement? So those of our students, irregardless of the school, who choose to start practicing their coaching skills ASAP at work, are actually the ones who are experiencing the fastest curve of progress. And at the same time, those who manage to combine it with some kind of, I love what, I think it was Edwin who said, coachpreneuring practice. Just taking it out there, bringing it to the youth, bringing it to those who need it. They actually begin to notice that their professional network starts to feed in clients for their coachpreneur practice. And of course, once with the support of the peer coaching and all the activities that we organize as organization, get our clients, not our coaches, accredited, they can immediately jump into the international platforms that actually bring quite a sufficient income, that support. I hope I made a point here.
Thank you, Nadia.
Back to you.
Thank you, Nadia. Well said. So, George, what's your same point about bringing that coachpreneur or the youth into coaching early enough before they get to work?
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is you find that coaches are usually people over 40. That's a fact. So one of the things we're doing at BNG Coaching Center, we try to target the youth, almost giving them a scholarship, such that we want the youth to come, because we're in our 5th cohort, and what we do is we kind of try to ensure that we have a young person coming, because what I tell them is the young person will feel attracted to be coached by another young person. Then there's another category of people who want coaching. Coaching is seen as a second career, right? So you find that the people who are thinking of transitioning out of employment to get into, so that they use that as coaching and the skills at work. So I think for us it's really knowing the facts, the data, and starting to be very intentional in selling coaching to the younger generation. And one of the truth about coaching is it's expensive. It's expensive. When I wanted to do coaching in 2010, and I was looking at the costs, my goodness, it was crazy. Thank God there was a missionary who appeared in Kenya and was offering that at 10% of the cost. And I got the opportunity, others I had to save so much and go out of the country and then come back. That was 2010. But right now it's so good to see that there are more opportunities. And it's just inviting the younger people to join in, because I know finances is a barrier. Yeah.
Great. Madeleine, you want to chip in there?
Yeah, I think this is a great discussion, because we, if we're not careful, get really caught up in creating the coaches, but not necessarily enough demand for it. Okay, and so to go back to the alumni events that we've held in the last year include how do you set up your own coaching business, how do you market, another event around how do you market and brand yourself as a coach. We also see that there's great opportunity in sectors that are probably overlooked, where we would encourage alumni, and we do encourage alumni, to use the pro bono hours that they've got. The ICF accepts the 25%, correct me if I'm wrong there, could be pro bono, and to look for young entrepreneurs or to look for high impact entities where coaching would make a huge shift. And that's something that we're really intentionally encouraging. As people graduate, they often are looking for hours. They're not even the level below C-suite, but the entity sees they have high potential and could do with a coach. And we are on a weekly basis matching to ensure that that's a win-win, because the coach is also getting hours, they're getting fees, yes, not what they would be getting coaching a CEO or C-suite, which is our typical coaching clientele at Career Connections, but still this is it's a development for them too, and an impact for the coachee. And once people have been coached, they're more likely to want to become coaches. That's the other thing.
That's very true. That's right. People always want to be where can I get this coaching certification and be a coach as well with the same impact?
So I mean, again, a very interesting discussion. So maybe I just share a little bit of a story. So this year, we did have one of my colleagues within the office go through a global diploma. And he's largely a student, so he sort of goes to school in the evening, and then during the day, he works with us during the day. And in the last few weeks, he's been spending time just helping us sort of demonstrate, if you like, the proof of concept around how we can think about youth and how we can actually invest, get youth into the space of coaching. And I think a couple of ideas that we are exploring is how do we set up, for example, coaching centers within organizations, universities, so that these becomes integrated as part of what they all have to experience at an early stage. If I kind of then reflect this with the background of my coming into coaching, which was in 2016, and I see George here, who was my teacher, and I'm just reflecting on the missed opportunities. Had I become a coach much earlier, it's immense. And the truth of the matter is, I am the person to raise my hand and say for a long time, especially within the corporate space. Owens Woodman was in financial services for over 2 decades. I thought I was a very good coach. But whatever I was doing there was not exactly coaching. It was an assemblance of in the corporate space. The coaching you sort of get exposed to first is around remedial coaching. The team members who are not performing, so you're going to get yourself into a discussion to say, how are you going to meet your numbers, why behind your numbers, and I thought that was really coaching. So my first true experience of how to really apply coaching in a way that is meaningful and that can help the next person was through the program that I went at CDI, where I learned how to really coach. So to sort of drive my point here, I am driving that we do have an opportunity to do more within the space of youth, to do more in terms of not only making it accessible for them, but also putting real finite resources into such an effort. And I think it's something that we want to see how we can do more of within the CDI space. But of course, as we move along, we will be inviting many others to see how we can collaborate, including, of course, key partners in ICF, to see how we can actually take this discussion further.
Okay, thank you. Really good talk. I think I'd just like us to push it a bit further.
Sure.
And address the issue. If you look at ICF fundamentally within the Africa context, I think significant numbers are seen around Egypt, which is far north, and ideally for us is more so coming in second after South Africa. And so yourselves as leaders really in setting the pace on what coaching institution is like, and delving on the thoughts that you've just shared, that the very opportunistic areas like with the youth. How are you looking to, one, influence what the ideal or has been coaching, what the coaching context has been like? Take for example from global. I think we've got an African story around this. So what are you looking to incorporate in terms of your curricula? And then also, how are you looking to be able to expand your offering to also capture the wider untapped markets within Africa?
That's a good question, very wide.
Yes, it is. So
I think one of the, at the global level, ICF, it recognizes that we are a global body and we have to be culturally sensitive. So what happens is, even as schools, we are limited to ensuring that what we teach 80% is what is from ICF Global, 80%. So we have 20% to work around. But I think that the But then even as we're teaching that, we're teaching within the local context. Because that's where we play and that's where people can identify with. From every one of us of our institutions, that whatever certificates they get from us is at a global level. And you see, that is because the world is becoming small. That's what people want. So that gives a good advantage. Yet there's a local experience. And that's what we bring in as institutions within Africa. That even the teachers are local. The teachers are using local experiences, the local challenges, the leaders that come to our institutions are local. So even the way they express themselves is from a local context. So even within themselves, even as leaders, exchanging that and being able to give them the space to express themselves and infusing them the coaching principles and the knowledge and the practice. So that one, we see that being a success in our institutions because they are able to identify with what is happening. Because you see, when the students come, we allow them to express themselves in what they're going through. And as they express themselves, infusing the coaching competencies and the ethics that are global. It's just the application and the experience is localized. So that's where I would say we do it.
Okay, thank you. Nadia, you're way off, far off from Africa, but presence felt here through Rise and Learn. What's your perspective about this?
Yes, listening to the previous speaker, I definitely felt the disadvantage of not being local and the privilege to have had the honor to teach coaching in Kenya and East Africa. Because we all know that coaching is a dynamics where each and everyone learns and grows at the same time. There is no power hierarchy. I'm the teacher, I'm the knower. So I am among the privileged to have come and felt the warmth of the culture of East Africa. And as I was listening to that distinction, I was also thinking about the similarities. I come and live in East Europe. And when you look at one of the latest statistics of ICF, you will see that East Africa, Middle East and Africa and Eastern Europe share the same percentage of revenue from coaching, which is less than 4%. Compared to Western Europe, 32%, and of course North America, 45% of revenue, total annual revenue from coaching. I'm quoting figures from ICF, Trends of Coaching 2021 report. So, what does that mean? Both the location I'm coming from and where you are sitting have huge opportunity for creating revenue growth, accelerating businesses, both entrepreneurship and corporate, through coaching. That's how I'm reading the numbers. And what this means is that we, as a community here gathered in this panel, have a lot of work to do, guys. Have a lot of coaches to coach, because it's not thanks to our effort that coaching spreads. It's thanks to the brave efforts and continuous coaching of the students that go through our coaching schools. That coaching creates impact in our locations. I have a good news though. 15 years ago, when I was riding with a cab, you know how drivers are, they ask you what you do for a living, and I was saying I'm a coach. And they would ask me, coach what? And in Bulgaria, coach, which is similar to coach, is the word for male goat. Male. So you can imagine how I felt. I'm still driving in cabs nowadays. They still keep asking me the same question. And now I'm having the same answer. What do you do for a living? I'm a coach. And the answer this time is, oh, in what field? In what field of coaching? So the awareness is growing through time, but of course we have work to do in accelerating this process, because the numbers show there is huge potential.
Awesome, awesome.
Hope I read it in perspective.
Yes, you have. Really great, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe we can...
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, yes, I agree 100%. The opportunities are immense. I mean, just there's what Maris talks about in terms of percentage penetration rates, opportunity, being relatively low compared, for example, global north, and some of the statistics that you compare with there. But then it's also, and I'm just reflecting on last year. Last year at CDI, we saw our number of clients almost triple. Again, an indication that there is certainly demand for the service. And I kind of feel, the perspective I would add is that I kind of feel really what we should think about doing more is creating awareness for professional coaching. Because you kind of think of the coaching profession in the past having sort of had a very low barrier to entry. Everybody who sort of gets their sunset days decides to call themselves a coach. That kind of in itself has created a problem, because of obviously then you have many people who are calling themselves coaches when they are not actually coaches. But I guess I'm so happy that we're in a place now where more and more people really appreciate professional coaching from all these other variants. And I think the opportunity I see in getting more people to really experience coaching, what professional coaching feels like. And I think there's still a huge opportunity we have here around creating awareness, exposing, taking this campaign, in my view, and sort of this is a passion we have at City. How can we take this campaign to organizations? Because that way we're able to impact many more people quickly. How do we take this campaign to professional bodies? Today we do partner with, for example, Women on Board Network. Again, that's the same spirit. We're thinking about how do we
Give me some time.
How do we go into professional bodies and get them to sort of help us with the efforts of democratizing coaching? So yeah, there's lots really for us to do.
Great, good.
Yeah, again, fascinating conversation, given that we were the first global entity to come into the East African market 15 years ago. And so bringing that global know-how and standards and accreditation, but importantly, as I think was said earlier, combining it with faculty who understand the context, so what we call globalization. So you kind of take the global and you localize it to the context, but making sure that, to my original point, always best in class, not for Africa, but sitting shoulder to shoulder globally, and as a consequence also having our faculty be the first two accredited coach supervisors in the region. One thing I would really say to ICF, and I don't know how much leverage you have here, but can they separate the Middle East data away from the African data, please? We look at that report on an annual basis. We're totally behind your campaign that we need to come second after South Africa. That would be great. And one of the ways that to your original question, which is how are we innovating our content so that we're reaching wider audiences? I think that's an ongoing with new programs and the development of existing programs constantly. And equally, the Academy of Executive Coaching was very well known for its work in team and systemic team coaching. So we've added that into our practitioner deployment, then having our alumni from this region sitting in the global classes which are delivered virtually now for systemic team coaching. I think that's massive exposure where I facilitate that program occasionally for the academy, and the one I did last month had participants from New York all the way to China, Philippines, etc. Coaches of good experience and qualifications, and they are now mixing with our African alumni, which, like I said, this is about accessibility but in a different way, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
I like the word globalization, and just to pick on that, and in the perspective of ICF, the local chapter, and we've all churned out a good number of graduates, and we've seen the numbers grow in our local membership. And from where you sit, how then do we reinforce the message that as part of an ethical standard and to drive professional, that this graduates or graduates of the school to become members of ICF Kenya chapter? How do you position that? How we position it?
I think it's a given in this sense, because if you go through an ICF approved accredited program, and in our course, one of the things that we take time to do is actually introduce ICF. We talk about the history of ICF, the levels of accreditation, and then even because even when you do the competencies, it's the ICF competencies, when you do ICF code of ethics, so you cannot escape. Then you finish the course, you get your hours, then you have to build your experience 100 hours, and you go, you want to get an ACC. So if you're a member of ICF, it's only $300. If you are not a member, it is $500 for the application of credentialing. So it makes a lot of sense for you to become a member. So selling membership is something that we do. Selling membership is something to their advantage, because what we say is, being a member, you're in a community of professionals. You're in this group where people discuss issues. There's a lot of materials, there's a lot of information you can learn from other coaches. So that, just pushing that for us, and even knowing one of the values of ICF, one is collaboration. And for me, it's a given. It's a no-brainer, because if you want to continue in this path from our training and you want to become a coach, this is the best place to be a member of ICF.
Great.
Yeah.
Linda?
Yeah, Arwins, you know this. We cover the different pathways from our practitioner diploma, and we spend time, obviously we're level 1 program, and now also getting a level 2. So what we spend time explaining the way that they can reach credentials and different levels of credentials. So in our case, we talk through the ICF pathway as well as the Association for Coaching, the European Mentoring and Coaching Council. So there's 3 pathways, but we encourage to actually be members of as many as they can, because there's resources you get and networks that you get from all the different accrediting bodies. With the ICF, I hear you that it totally makes sense to be a member, to have less fees as you go forward for your credentialing. I have heard that some of our alumni are finding those fees, especially even for the coach knowledge assessment, quite prohibitive. And I think there is again an ask of the ICF for our region, just as we have with the Academy of Executive Coaching. We do not charge the same for our programs in Africa as we would, as they do in Europe or in the Middle East, or the Singapore, for instance, very different markets. Is there an ask that they can look at this to make the profession more accessible? I think the other thing that I would say is that we're growing a fantastic community of executive and professional coaches in East Africa, and the ICF isn't just about that. It's actually the only accrediting body, unlike the AC and EMCC, which is focused on all types of coaching. And I don't see anyone stepping into the other parts of coaching as much as you see work-based coaching taken up.
Yeah, very true, very true. Good challenge for us.
Sure. Indeed.
Morris?
Yeah, so yeah, I think similar to the other coaching schools, we are very intentional around ICF membership, particularly when we're onboarding about the benefits of joining ICF and what it presents for the soon-to-be graduate, so to speak. Now, again, similar to what Madeline shared, we are a level 2 coaching school, and so we do spend also time taking them through the pathway around what does credentialing look like, and also what support we would offer them through that journey. Having said that, I do have a contrarian view on this, and this is around the topic of, whilst we do this because we do believe it's a right thing to, just like George did indicate, I do feel there is an opportunity for us to sort of create a more compelling value proposition for membership. And how that looks to me, so that I don't present a problem, I don't present a solution for it, is really being extremely client-centric and getting to understand what our coach is looking for, and then being very intentional in supporting them through that journey. Like I did say, to kind of simplify this and have two pathways, those who want to become coachpreneurs and those who want to sort of embody this. You do have, there is opportunity for us to leverage around how do we create communities that actually support them through the different paths. How could we partner with, for example, the local chapter and think through that path in a way that we demonstrate the value proposition that we're putting in front of them that is more compelling, that goes beyond membership for membership's sake, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
It goes beyond that to say what can we do for the coaches. So I think for me that's a challenge. And Susan, I mean, I've reached out to you to say this is a discussion that I would love for us to sort of have, just think through, so that we kind of come up with a fair blueprint and be more intentional around how we could actually go through this.
Yeah, so great. Sorry. Yeah, so
May I chime in?
yes, Nadia, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because I think adding to everything what everybody else said, so start of the coach training. Meaning, I'll give you two examples. Thanks to the generosity award is an ICF membership to the participant or participants who show highest diligence and commitment to coaching. And we have very clear criteria of what it means. It creates that sense of goal and reward for the efforts from the get-go, but also this allows us to promote the golden standard of success in coaching from the very start of the experience, creating a little bit of competition as well for it, because we all know competition works. And the other thing, the way we practically use that standard of success, Ericsson Coaching International has a platform called Ericsson Plus that is only for its alumni. And thanks to that platform, the alumni who get accredited can also obtain coaching contracts with some of our corporate clients. And the door to that is ICF accreditation. If they want to get coaching clients through their coaching school's platform, they need to be at least ACC. The higher they get, the better paid they are, of course. We all know that.
Great. It's a good
That's how we practically link membership and accreditation with the certification process.
Good reinforcement there. So we'll take a 2-minute
like to ask is, we are all seeing a lot of navigation towards taxation and a lot of other things within the taxation space. So what do you see in terms of coaching then getting mainstreamed and contextualized into a local context, and most probably there'll be some impact from government in terms of leading towards that direction. We saw the directive on the e-teams. So what do you have to say on that in reference to the alums that are coming in from your institution and going out? What do you see as the main stakeholders as coaching institutions in terms of participating maybe in discussions with government to be able to shape the space when it comes to taxation? Perhaps that's what I would say in a nutshell. Maybe it's
Yeah, so I mean, that's it feels like I'm walking on eggshells here when you start talking about the stacks. And I guess, I think from where I sit, I mean, just thinking on my feet, the tax conversation is a wider conversation. I think it's sort of, I would sort of look at it I'll look at it from a context of, we all recognize the need to pay taxes, and we do pay taxes. And so my philosophy has been about it's what we do with those taxes to make sure that then we can actually empower and enrich the lives of our population. Now, if I take your question further, so that maybe then I kind of would answer it from a point of if there are two things that we're sure of, it's taxes and then I'll take it to the angle of how do we make coaching accessible? I guess that's sort of the way I choose to interpret it. And I think the opportunity I see is that we have a huge opportunity partnering together to create coaching centers which will allow, for example, back to the conversation I was talking about earlier around how do we partner with professional bodies? How do we help them set up coaching centers, which means they can actually then get coaching at that level. If it's educational institutions, whether university, tertiary universities, how do we partner with them to help them create and have the capabilities to actually then take coaching within the thousands of students they interact with? I kind of see that as sort of the more practical way, at least at this point in time, that we could think about taking coaching to the masses and getting to really making sure that it sort of gets to every corner of our nation and certainly the region.
Okay. Any thoughts on that, Matthew?
Well, I didn't expect a taxation question at the end of elevating and celebrating coaching. I would concur with a lot that's been said actually around this and accessibility. Some of our alumni who do want to set up their own practices do struggle with the e-TIMs, etc. Now we have a fantastic finance function that helps them as much as possible, especially as we are going to be the people they often invoice as we've brought them those opportunities. But I guess it's just about making it simpler, and I know I'm cognizant that we're towards the end of our session, and I just want to say that to anyone who's on the call today, be you a coach or thinking of becoming a coach, it's an incredibly rewarding and inspiring space to be in. Don't worry about tax, it's gonna come just like the other thing that inevitably comes. But be professional, and it's part of being ethical, isn't it? That you be professional in the way that you manage your business of coaching. But this is the week to go out and to impact others as much as possible with the special skills that you have if you are a coach. Yeah.
Okay.
George.
I think I'm just right on. It's about being ethical.
Ethical.
That's the bottom line for me.
So, you can read them out, the questions in the chat, folks?
Maybe you can, so that everyone can hear.
No, I can see them. Can you check?
Oh, lots of comments.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I pick the last one by some of the programs that you offer, and probably as probably wrap up, what would they be in terms of some mentoring, coaching exposures, but coaching provision, and probably talk about what you have and what you can offer those who want to improve or get a higher credential from ICF.
Yeah, so I think from a CDI perspective, I did highlight earlier, we are a level 2 school, so we do have a whole array of programs that we offer, right from foundational courses, whether you're looking to sort of lead with a coaching disposition, all the way to you becoming, we do offer, our premium product is our global diploma in executive leadership coaching. And so we do offer programs right from CCA-based programs all the way to level 2 programs in the context of our 2 global diplomas that we offer. In addition to that, we, like I did indicate earlier, we are also looking, and maybe even before I get to that, I think one of the programs that we took to the market, I believe last year, the year before last, is a leadership masterclass that actually focuses on helping organizations navigate the complexities that they have to deal with in the 21st century. And this specific program is really styled to help organizations, to summarize, to sort of really inspire sustainable high performance. And it's been quite popular with organizations. It's really helped us to penetrate that market from a context of how do we help organizations to sort of lead with coaching. As I finalize, is that we do also offer support to those who are looking to go through the credentialing journey, and that's something that also we're looking to see how, as we move along, we could commoditize and productize to make sure that as part of our community engagement, we support coaches way past the certification. To sort of to whichever end they're working towards.
Okay, great.
Maybe before you go on, it would be worthwhile for the audience to understand the distinction in level 1, level 2 institutions.
So if you kind of think about being a level 2 coaching school means that if you kind of think about the credentialing journey, for those who are familiar, is that our program. Especially our program, especially the executive leadership program, gets you very close to PCC. So what you just need to do is immediately you finish with it, you just go through a couple of sessions and quickly you transition to PCC. PCC, of course, being the second. Can I call it what? The middle point, the kind of thing. The highest being the Master Certified Coach, which is the MCC. So that's what it gives us, and therefore, what tends to happen with our programs, I would say, is, for those who have gone through a program, you will notice they are quite comprehensive from both a depth perspective and a breadth perspective. And also we do create an environment of adult learning that helps us to interrogate ourselves and push ourselves to the next level. Susan, I hope that covers it.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
And just for the audience, PCC stands for Professional Certified Coach.
Yes.
So yes, Madeline.
Similarly, so we have certificates which we typically run in-house as parts of our leadership development program, working with large entities on multi-year leadership development program. So certificate level, we have practitioner diploma level, which would get you into ACC level with ICF, and the professional practitioner diploma, which gives you everything that you need to, barring the coach knowledge assessment and your 500 hours of coaching, you would get into PCC. We have obviously team coaching fundamental certificates, systemic team coaching certificates, and ongoing supervision support. I know this might be politically incorrect, but because of the EMCC, we also have certificates that are accredited in mentoring as well. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell of what we offer.
Nadia, Rise and Learn?
Similarly, level 1, level 2 certification. that allows for accreditation at accredited certified coach or professional certified coach, that both programs, as per the newest requirements of ICF, include the mentoring from mentors that have extensive experience, can mentor in various languages, come from different locations, thus adding perspectives on how to coach and alternatives in coaching. Ericsson, through Rise and Learn, also spread its wings to other spheres than simply professional coaching, but applying coaching at the workplace. So we have team coaching, the whole certification as per the newest requirements of ICF, for both part 1 and part 2, and leader as coach, where leaders who don't want to necessarily be right, but want to empower their people to be right, can acquire the coaching skills without the necessity of going through the turmoil of accreditation to begin with. They end up there for sure, but to use it at the workplace. And we also have a unique program, I believe, called Parent as Coach. We are taking coaching to the hearts of families so that we bring that mindset, that way of thinking to the youngest generation from the start of their life. That's what we can support people with through our programs.
That's interesting, Nadia. Thank you. And George?
Yes, BNG Coaching Center, we have just one course, which is Certified Leadership and Team Coach. We focus a lot on individuals, and that's our niche. We have small classes. It runs for 6 months, online, during the weekdays, 3 hours online between 4:30 and 7:30. So that's what we do. We focus also on mentor coaching for those who want to be credentialed. We do that. And then also leadership development consulting with organizations that want to work on leadership related issues. We go in and work with them and curate programs. So we work a lot. When working with organizations, we partner with them and co-create programs that fit what they want to do. So in terms of strategic execution, building effective teams, and supervisory skills. So that's what we do. Yeah.
Great stuff. There's a question about how to become an ICF member, and I'll ask Madam President to tell you how to onboard into ICF.
Yes, so it's been an interesting discussion, and thank you so much for all your contribution, Nadia, and the rest of the team with us here. So ideally, the gateway to become an ICF member is through the people, the institutions represented herein. These are the people who then equip you with the knowledge and competence through the prescribed ICF core competencies and so much more. And upon successfully qualifying from the institutions, then the ecosystem provides ICF chapter, and in this case Kenya chapter, as the space within which then you are embodied, and then you come and meet other like-minded and professional coaches who are in different realms. So in terms of the coaching fee, we have an annual fee of $245 only, okay, with a lot of benefits. If you can plug into our socials, you'll be able to see other recordings that we have had and other engagements that we have been having, and banners that are outlined with the benefits beyond what you have had herein. And that's the avenue through which you're able to become a member of ICF. If you go to our socials again, and even through our website, you'll be able to see any contact details, and you're free to reach out to us. We don't put a timeline in terms of when you qualified, in terms of your certification, but for as long as that you can demonstrate proof in terms of your accreditation certificate that you are a certified coach, then we are more than glad to welcome you to the ICF community. Okay, over to you.
So thank you very much. The Chinese sayings always says that when you're ready, the teacher will show up. and these institutions are available to when you're ready. So when you're ready, please sign up. And I'd like to thank each one of you for spending your time, and my apologies for running 10 minutes late. But thank you very much and have a good afternoon. And thank you for those who are in the audience. And please innovate, elevate, and celebrate your coaching. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Happy coaching, everyone.
Thank you. And you too, Nadia.
Bye.
Don't you want to stay?
Bye-bye.
Nadia? Nadia, just to stay on the call, just to wrap up. Nadia, you can...
Recording stopped.